Good morning. Good morning to all the haters and the lovers out there, and funeral,
And funeral.
and the bar mitzvahs as well.
GM funeral.
What's the opposite of a funeral? The baby shower?
A birthday? Yeah. Your actual birthday? Well,
in there.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah, we're it's kind of like a weird week. It's like the market
worth living.
It's
not even to live anymore.
We almost broke all-time high on Bitcoin again, but I don't like this. I mean, this is the weekly, so we still got the rest of the week to change this candle around. Right now I don't love that. We need to break close to like 110 to hit a new all-time high. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully this reverses. We were talking before the show, and when I say I don't love this, I don't mean we're still in good shape, right? But I just mean that I think we were hoping to like bust through a new all-time high. Right now, the chart looks like, we're maybe going to have a little bit of a rejection. Hopefully that's not the case though. That's just looking at the weekly. Obviously it's actually a green morning. So, that's not super bulla of me. I guess I should, be saying we're going to the moon.
Broke through that resistance on the top hole, so we're straight, dude.
Yeah, we busted through the resistance. If we just kind of hover here, we're definitely going to break all-time high. We were talking before the show because there's a chart that I didn't want to look at. There's a chart that is usually cursed. I hate talking about, but I think the Ethereum chart is like undeniable right now. I mean, this looks crazy to me. This looks like someone's pumping like a meme token. Like this is, based on, what I was saying before the show, I was like, this is the daily, so on the daily, I wouldn't be surprised to see us bounce right off that, go higher. But the Ethereum weekly right now is also kind of crazy. Because according to the Ethereum weekly, alts might just be getting started. Now that's if we're going with the whole, Bitcoin dominance goes down, so Ethereum and alts finally move. I know I hate to give the Ethereum lads hopium, but I guess I would it would be a disservice if I didn't acknowledge that Ethereum is doing something after like 2 years. Now, if you want me to still give you a little FUD, I can tell you that based on where Bitcoin is, Ethereum should be like $6,000-$7,000. So we can thank the Ethereum Foundation for that. But it's finally moving after all this time, right? So got to be happy with that at least.
Ethereum was moving like a spiked football, dude. Because of like someone pointed out, and I completely forgot about this, but like OKX's like exploit. Some people are saying the market is just now absorbed it, so that's why we're gonna see an uptrend again on Ethereum, because that was like.
I mean, that's an interesting point, right? Because the Bybit and all that stuff. I mean, it wasn't just like, oh, it's a few million. Well, wasn't it like 2% or 3% of the Ethereum supply or something crazy?
Let's see.
Between the hacks.
Yeah, the Bybit hack.
Yeah, I want to say it was like 3%, 2 or 3% of like the entire supply between those hacks.
Yeah, it's a lot. 400,000 ETH. Along with their staked ETH. Oh my god, yes. And North Korea is buying. That's right, Benny. Like their shadow pools.
North Korea is bidding. That's bullish.
Yeah. I mean, because he's got a 1,000-year vision,
Yeah. So, I mean, that costs a lot of money. I mean, that's not just going to, that ain't just going to come from nowhere.
So you think ETH is going to bounce all the way back up?
Like I said, looking at this, you could say it's just getting started, which on the daily, to me. Looks like there's a good chance we're just gonna pop off that. But as everything else goes, we got a lot of macro to balance. There's so many other factors, but if we're just looking from like a pure analysis standpoint, it looks pretty good. I have to say.
Trump said he's going to invade France.
Then we'll go to like $20,000 Ethereum.
Yeah.
when we drop into France.
I don't know why that would cause a spike, but I like your thinking here.
But yeah, speaking of alts, we can go look at our beloved Sonic. So not quite like looking at the Ethereum chart right now.
Yeah,
the alts, like the alt L1s and stuff, haven't had that like big move again yet. We had this march up to, we were down here at 40 cents, marched back up to 60 cents. We're just kind of like in purgatory right now. I'm imagining we hold here at this 50 area. Billy and Benny.
Eggs with Benny. I think it'd be good. Common S or come on S. This is an interesting formation here, Dracula. As a guy who doesn't do has no TA knowledge, this like literally a marching up, right? Like each wave progressively going up. Isn't that typically bullish?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it like it's probably something more like a channel. Let's see if it'll let me draw another line here. I mean, roughly a channel. You could argue that, we're still just kind of like.
But then we pooped the bed, dude.
Yeah. If you were looking at it from like a channel standpoint, it looks like we're out of it. But like I said, everything on the alt side is a little stagnant.
Market makers, dude. If I learned anything from the last episode, it's those market makers doing this.
It's the market makers. We saw a lot of chatter about the market makers, and just to like touch on that briefly. I mean, the market makers are not necessarily in charge of pumping your bag. The market makers are pretty much just supposed to like make the chart look attractive as they can. At the end of the day, when you have a token that's got like $1 billion market cap or whatever, the market makers can really only have so much impact on the chart. And that's if they even wanted to. Making money off being a market maker is usually just kind of like a byproduct of the job you're doing.
They make for volume, right? Like they just want a lot of trades. That's how they make the money.
Yeah, just volume and making the chart look attractive as it can. Like
listing something that they can immediately just dump because they don't give a fuck about it. I don't think they actually do that very often, though.
No,
I mean, actually, they need to trade at certain levels. Like they need to take the other side of the trade. They're there to make sure the economy can exist. But can you really make a market?
Yeah, I mean, why ruin the market maker boogeyman theory? I mean, it's just because I've seen so much chatter on it, and it's just not really what happens, especially with a token as large as S. I mean, it's just they can only do so much to make the chart or hurt the chart. So I think we should get off this market maker boogeyman theory. Start loading your bags of S. Be the change that you want to see. Be the pump that you want to see. Buy some S at 50 cents.
Buy some S and place some sell orders at $1.50 or something.
Look at
words.
Yeah, think about it like this. Your FUD thread is probably not going to earn Elon bucks, so you have a better chance of earning some money. Getting some S, and like Corval said, maybe setting a sell order somewhere significantly higher, right?
Yeah, set it significantly higher. Or join my cabal, my Telegram chat, and I'm not even gonna say. I was gonna joke we do market manipulation, but we don't, and we don't.
Yeah, Benny says embrace tradition, blame marketing.
That's true. We're not getting enough housewives buying S.
Yeah. Let's see.
orders seem to work well. Yeah, it seems someone's making their bread and butter off of that.
Yeah, I mean, buy 50 cents, sell 60 cents. With the way things are going, you'll probably be in good shape, honestly.
Yeah, that's a smart one. That's a smart one.
I mean, it's like I was saying about Ethereum before the show started. I was like, there is a trade that you can basically not lose on. If Ethereum's under $2,000, I get some Ethereum. The end. And it's gonna go back to mid 2000, 3000, whatever. Eventually, I mean, you might have to sit on it a while, but it's practically like a trade that you can't lose. Now, until they reveal that it is just like a complete Russian psyop, then we might have some trouble. But until then, I think it's pretty easy trade.
It paid off this time.
Yeah.
And you know what? I didn't listen to your wisdom, and I unloaded all my Ethereum, and I'm back in. I'm too scared.
Well, yeah. I mean,
do we want to go down on the list, or we want to? I have something a little bit more fun, but let's save that for later. Let's get Funeral participating here. Let's get him out of his shell.
Funeral. We got a couple things to discuss with you while you're here.
Funeral.sonic. You got it?
Yeah.
Sorry, I jumped the gun.
First and foremost, I would say there's some big stuff brewing for Paintswap, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. The lads have been at it for 4 years. We've gone through a lot of iterations from the initial phase that it was at, deployed on Fantom. Now the leading, at the time there were some competitors in the NFT space, and they've just rebirthed themselves to facilitate the trading of these financial NFTs. And there's definitely a scene rumbling on Sonic now too, with digital collectibles and art. And in the spirit of all that, Clocky with the summit started a really cool initiative to get some artists together to do commemorative pieces for the first Sonic summit. So in that, I pitched that we would do some pieces to celebrate this 4-year anniversary. So to celebrate 4 years of Paintswap, myself, Sarge, Clockworky, and Selic are making one-of-ones to auction off, all inspired by mainly Bob Ross, I guess, but Paintswap too.
Love that.
So we're still trying to find a time. On the 25th is the anniversary. So on Sunday for me, I believe. And we're just trying to find a time that syncs up well for everybody. But on the 25th, expect those pieces to be up. I saw Sarge's so far. Looks really cool. I can send my piece that I'm working on. I still have some tweaks to do for it. I'll just send this to, I guess, Drac. I'll send this to you on Telegram.
Okay, that works. Let's see here. Yeah, man. I mean, love to hear about. Oh man, this is cool. Yeah, let me toss this up. Let's see here. Yeah, love to hear about something like the good old auction days. You know what I mean? It kind of brings back that feeling.
Very much inspired by Tomb Heads. We had spoke about trying to get that energy back in a couple of different ways, but there's nothing that's ever quite going to recreate that time. In the space on Sunday, we're obviously going to bring focus back to the pieces. It's going to be a fun conversation, try to bring up different people from the Sonic team if they're available as well. There's a TG chat trying to sync all the time zones because Sonic's worldwide, baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're trying to celebrate the structure that got us here. That ultimately, me and all the success with Derp was also me trying to bring back that auction vibe. Just like putting auctions on the timeline because there really wasn't a Discord that people were getting together in or a repetitive space that people were organizing. So yeah, no, the auctions are definitely a tip of the hat to everything at the Tomb Heads auction house that was going on, and hoping to ignite more people to auction art, make some stuff, make something cool. You could just do things super sweet. You can mint it on the chain, super cheap, super fast.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's taken a little time on the NFT side for Sonic, with Sonic being like primarily DeFi focused, but it has been nice to see. I feel like you were saying earlier, you're starting to see more NFT collections come out. I think, if we get into like a proper bull run, I think we learned last run that NFTs are almost more like a byproduct, like luxury. Like there are people that, of course, only really deal in NFTs, but like in terms of like NFT volume and everything being like massive, it usually kind of requires like that people are making money on DeFi or memes or whatever. So it does feel good to start like you're seeing like more collections and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I think if we hit that like bull market, maybe we can like, get back to having like a weekly auction house or something. It would, those times were just so fun because it was just, everybody's just kind of like hanging out at the same time and talking and lots of good art. And yeah, would love to see that again.
A lot of that was people just celebrating the effort. It's artists that were just trying the new medium that was NFTs, or it's very few and far between that you get a new tick on the timeline of art. Like we've been in a postmodern world for so long, right? And then we've got like these digital collectibles. I think we lost Corval there. He said he had to dip, but um, it's like with that time, maybe it wasn't like masterworks that like a Rembrandt or something, but people were just celebrating the technology, celebrating that people were trying to do something new. And
Yeah.
we need that energy back. I think that it's okay to just like make some art and see if people like it.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's Sunday, and everyone be on the lookout for that Spaces. I'm sure it'll pop up on everyone's timeline. So that'll be a good time. Excited to see that. And yeah, I mean, it's crazy that Paintswap. It's crazy to think that some of us have been around for 4 or 5 years now. I mean, it's crazy to just even hearing like Paintswap's 4 years old. It's just like whoa, like time time has gone by, man. But congrats to those guys. They're always like innovating and pushing new stuff. And something else I was gonna talk about since you were here was um, Derp. You got this new Uppies meal,
Yes.
and I was wondering what's the idea with that?
Well, there will always be uppies. That's the bowl philosophy. And uppies was just this fun thing that we put on DGen Express on the first day of Sonic that was meant to just kind of live to see like what people would do with it, because it was a term that people were saying anyway, right? Like we were
Yeah,
all saying uppies. And that's, I think, a core part of any good meme movement. Tap into something that's universally already accepted and then bend it to your context. So, which, uppies, sure, like you say that, like when you want like to be picked up or, feel small, but we said it in the goggles, this telegram when the chart was going crazy. Like
yeah,
anytime there was a green day, it would just be like uppies.
yeah.
Um, so things are getting kind of quiet. People are writing crazy FUD threads about their bags, which is not how you do it, but skill issue maybe. But so I was like, what would be funny if one we created one snack that filled the whole hunger meter, which we haven't done that. We've been pretty cheeky on you got to buy a bunch of different snacks and feed them a proper meal, but we've packaged a full burp worth of hunger points, so to speak, in this Uppies meal. There's no limited time. You'll always be able to purchase the Uppies meal. It is not a meal not included. Um, you know, Asterix, Uppies meal is not actual food. But you can give your derp nourishment by just one click, taking your derp that you're claiming with the button, buy Uppy's meal, feed it. We also did an Uppy's room For the first time, we did a room update. So
There it is.
in DerpNet, there are 2 new rooms. We're gearing up to do some partnership celebrations and trying to figure out order of operations for, if someone comes in and they're celebrating something, what can we offer them? We can offer them posters, items, rooms. We're trying to really get into it. So the rooms are only one Sonic. There's no supply cap on the rooms, but it's purely decorative. But if you want to be the uppies you want to see in the world, you can get yourself an uppies meal, decorate your room with little uppies clouds.
I know I love the little uppies guy. But
Yeah.
and you know what's cool too is just that all the stuff you guys do, you know, it ties into like, you know, like basically like taking some derp off the market and all that stuff. So it's like a whole little ecosystem in itself, which, you know, is just really cool. Just like how much you guys think through all these things.
Exactly. When you purchase the uppies meal, 45% of that gets held to be burned later upon feeding, and then 45% is held to be given to the derp that's fed the uppies meal. I would try to feed your own derp the uppies meal, but if you don't have a derp, you could feed any derp the uppies meal. But 45% goes to the actual derp holder, 45% goes to the burn address, and then 10% goes to the treasury, so we can continue distributing the derp to the button.
Awesome. Well, love to see it. Was there any other derp news you got or anything, or mostly the uppies meal?
We started more of just maintenance stuff, I guess, for anyone who's interested in partnership requests. We have a formal ticketing system now. It was a little chaotic. My DMs were turning into an absolute dumpster fire. So the interns in the Discord will be responding to the tickets in the Discord moving forward. So you want to do a partnership collab, trying to see if your project is in the legion of derp and gonna get a custom derp, hit us up with a ticket, and we'll be managing it that way moving forward.
Yeah, that's good. I can only imagine what the DMs were like, especially with all the customs and everything. So, love to see it, man. Always on it. Always good to have you on. So, Corval had a hard out. So if you want to hang out, I got a couple other things to cover.
I'm here. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I guess one of the big ones was Unstoppable Domains. The wait is over. So if you reserved one early, you were able to claim it early. But now you can hop on over on Unstoppable Domains and get any name. It's now live. Let's see here. Mr. Clean says, I need me a derp. Yeah, you got to get a derp, man, for sure. You got to get on that.
Legion of Derp is real. It's the grand unifier. It's like when you see another derp on the timeline, you're like, okay, this person derps.
I know this. I can trust this guy. This is a real one right here.
He perhaps maybe owns Gucci goggles.
Yes, he might just have a pair. So yeah, no, I mean, the Unstoppable Domains is live. So go on there, get your .sonic name. I was getting hassled for not changing my handle to something .sonic. I guess I'm gonna have to make that big decision if I'm gonna leap, right? Benny's got a little thing here too. He says Ledger support for Sonic just announced. 15 plus tokens supported. Probably everything that's on CoinMarketCap. But that's a big one because they also just recently also Sonic stuff is now on Trust Wallet. So good stuff. Good to see all that coming together. Another thing just going around the eco was Shadow hitting $8 billion in volume traded, which is absolutely crazy. Leading the chain in fees, volume, all that stuff. I would say that's a pretty big deal. 8 billion. I mean, that's those are big boy numbers. Let's see. Barbecue says live at 7 with Benny on Eyewitness News. Yeah, Benny's dropping the breaking news. Yeah. Follett says shout out to 24 and team. Yeah, shout out to those guys. Shadow's like often making waves even in like the entire, if you're looking at like fees generated and all that stuff, like they're usually, somewhere in the top 10 pretty much daily, and that's like for all of DeFi, not just Sonic. So those guys are constantly moving, constantly adding stuff to their site. So love to see it. Congrats to those guys. And last thing today that we're going to look at real quick. The rumor is that, all right, there was a rumor a couple weeks ago, or it was a story that Ripple had tried to buy Circle at one point, and everybody was like, oh, there's no way that's going to happen. That's crazy, blah, blah, blah. But the way the story went was that Ripple had tried to buy Circle. They said no or whatever. Was kind of almost hard to believe. But basically, yesterday, there was a story breaking that apparently Ripple and Coinbase are actually bidding on Circle right now. Ripple seems to have some kind of like endless war chest. I don't know how they do all the things they do. I guess just being so early, such an early token. But I don't know. It's saying that Ripple actually has the upper hand in terms of the bidding right now, which is, I don't know. It's absolutely crazy. I don't know what'll happen if Ripple owns Circle. I mean, it's like, will they just kind of change everything to like their stable that they've worked on? I'd imagine they'd still just keep it USDC. I mean, that would probably be the smart move. But just kind of like in awe that the rumor was true. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like a crazy world we're in right now. You got this going on, but you're seeing a lot of stuff in the US this week. Nice to see the SEC commissioner, saying that, hey, most crypto assets are not securities and we need like a clear framework. So very different outlook than like the Gensler days. They just passed a bill last night. They got like stable coin legislation. So I guess to an extent, this new administration is keeping like true to their word that, they want to make crypto regulations so that people feel comfortable building in the US. So let's see. Car says they'll probably extract value and run it into the ground. You mean about Ripple? Yeah, I don't know. That's just such a wild story to me, but obviously it's also a sign of, hey, we're entering an era where it is like big business, and, Coinbase joining the SP 500. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on. So maybe, we shouldn't be bullish. I mean, not bullish. Maybe we shouldn't be bearish about this chart. All in all, Bitcoin's over $100,000, and we are probably about to break a new all-time high. Fallout says, I'd rather see CB take control of USDC. Yeah, I mean, it's an odd situation. I feel like obviously Coinbase and Circle have always been, I mean, I wasn't even quite sure that they were actually like totally separate entities. I guess they are to an extent. I guess it would be like, FTX saying we're buying Alameda. I don't know. But I guess there's enough legal separation there in the companies or whatever that it makes sense that they're trying to buy it. But I always thought they were tighter, more tightly linked than that. So yeah, we're going to have to see. But that's pretty much all we have today. I want to thank Funeral for hopping on with us, giving us an update. And we will be back Friday, normal time. So thanks for watching, and thanks again, Funeral.
Thanks for having me. Cheers.
Yeah, and
GM.
get that Uppies meal, and we'll see you guys next time.
Get yourself some Uppies.
Uppie.
GMSONIC is Corval and Dracula Presley. GM.